Hello, everybody. I want to start off with an introduction for myself because I don't think I've ever done that before. So my name is Philip, and I am a God-fearing, chief encouraging officer who's surrendering, and who's completely and totally forgiven. So that's like a little bit of like who I am, and I want to get to know you more. So I know that there's some of you that I know your names and stuff like that, etc. And so if you could, just for the community, just for our community, um, just put your name, I guess where you're from, um, and that way, you know, instead of me calling you by your handler name or whatever, I can just call you by like your real name, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever you prefer, I guess, Just put your name down in the comments, and that way we all can get to like better understand and or just know each other, that next step. So I also want to let you guys know that I'm starting a new channel. It's gonna be titled, I think, something along the lines of CEO, Chief Encouraging Officers Library. And basically it's just gonna be a channel where I can just give out encouragement. Like, I'm gonna be giving out encouragement on this channel as well, but I think um I think maybe I should focus on, I don't know. Maybe I might not do that yet. Maybe I might not start that channel yet. But that's just an idea that I had. Um I've been really big on like working and resting. So like it's a funny little acronym, but WAR, like writing and reading. Um Yeah, I'm just trying to work really hard, but also get just as much rest to where it's like I feel replenished, Trying to reprogram my mind and just trying to encourage myself daily by watching different encouraging videos on YouTube. And it's really been helping me, just it's helping me to accept like the emotions that come into my mind, or the thoughts that come into my mind, and the emotions that come into my body, and it helps me to surrender those emotions. I feel like all the negative emotions like doubt, shame, confusion, fear, these emotions, I feel like they're just visitors. They aren't residents, you know what I'm saying? They're just visitors. They come to maybe teach you a little lesson, or just maybe just teach you a little lesson about like, you don't feel like being grateful, but in the times where you don't feel like being grateful, I feel like that's when you need to be most grateful, because things could always be so much worse. And I just want to thank you all for listening. I want to thank you all for supporting me. I really appreciate you all. And You know, I love you all, and I appreciate you all, and I want to tell you all that you are completely and totally forgiven. You gotta really make yourself believe that, I believe, because if you don't, you're not gonna forgive yourself. You're not gonna feel forgiven by yourself, and it's gonna be hard for you to surrender certain emotions, like negative ones, and they're just gonna like linger, and you're just gonna be stuck. You're gonna feel stuck, and I felt stuck before, and I feel like I'm gonna feel stuck in the future. But I'm working on myself and working on my brain, working on my mental health, so that when the time comes for me to be you know not so joyful and happy, I will kind of lost my train of thought there. But anyways, I just want to thank you all again. You all are so amazing. Just know that you're not alone. There's many different people who are feeling exactly what you're feeling. You know what I'm saying? There's like what, like over 5 billion people on the planet, and you think that you're alone in your struggles. So, think about that, Think about the people. eh, I don't know, I was just gonna say, think about the people that don't have a house, you know what I'm saying? Um, like a roof over their heads type thing, you know? I think some people on the planet, or most definitely, maybe I believe some people on the planet are still living in like primitive human type days, like to where like they have to hunt for stuff. They're living off grid. They're hunting. They don't have a roof over their head. They're staying in a tent or anything like that. And they're not only surviving, they're thriving. They're enjoying life, just being like in a tent or just being out in nature. You know what I'm saying? They're out in nature. They don't come home to like a building or like infrastructure to where they walk into a door, like a wooden door. They don't have that type of lifestyle. You know they're out in, you know I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain what I'm trying to explain. Sometimes I have difficulty articulating my emotions and thoughts, and so that's why sometimes I just have to disappear. I have to detach from this life, and I have to work on giving myself love, because I need love too, from myself, because I feel like that may be like the purest form of love. The love that you have within yourself, you have to like kind of like activate it by just like taking care of yourself, just by listening to encouraging things, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's it for the video today. I think, yeah, I just want to get on here and skip the intro and just give you that introduction about who I am, you know what I'm saying? And just open up a little bit, be more transparent with you all. And I thank you so much for tuning in and listening. If you could subscribe, if you're not subscribed, please just subscribe and help help me, or help us here at the Foundation of Faith channel to build a bigger a bigger community, a bigger family. You know what I'm saying? Because us here, we're good. We're good without anyone else, but I feel like there's so many people in the world, and I feel like, we should just be all trying to get to know each other, but also, getting to know ourselves. I'm starting to ramble, but yeah, subscribe, like, share. If this video blessed you, please share it. Show your friends, show your family. Um, yeah, spread the word, community, I feel like is very important. Transparency is very important. Encouraging yourself, I feel like is very important. Completely and totally forgiving yourself is very important, those types of things. But anyway, I appreciate you all for tuning in. Thank you so much. My name is Philip. Peace.